Welcome to The Grow Show, powered by Steel. On The Grow Show, we share ideas, tips, tactics, and insights to help you grow your landscaping business based on our team's 40 years of experience running a landscaping company and working with other owners and their teams to do the same. New episodes are released weekly on Wednesdays. Without further ado, here's your host, Marty Grunder.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the case may be. This is Marty Grunder from Grunder Landscaping Company on the Grow Group. Thanks for downloading The Grow Show, powered by Steel. Today, I'm going to talk to you about some of the little touches you can add to your business, no matter what your size is, to help you be more successful. But first, a reminder, you can get the latest edition of The Grow Show delivered to your phone, tablet, or computer by subscribing wherever you get your podcasts, or watch us on YouTube for an enhanced learning experience. The Grow Show is the greatest thing since throwing out the first pitch at a professional baseball game. Recently, the bank we work with, Day Air Credit Union, gave me the thrill of a lifetime to throw out the first pitch at the Dayton Dragons baseball game. They are the high A affiliate of the Cincinnati Reds. They're quite a success story, folks. 21 years ago, they started playing baseball in Day Air Ballpark here in Dayton, Ohio, and they've had a professional sports record of 21 years of complete sellouts at every game. I'm proud to tell you I threw my first pitch for a strike, but I was nervous, and yes, I did practice. I'm proud to say at age 56, I still got it. Well, sorta. Now, on to the Grow Show. Being courteous and thoughtful adds up, folks. I love doing the Grow Show. I love this. This is so much fun. You have to know it. Hopefully you can tell by the energy I bring. But I wish for this episode I had a live audience in studio with me because I'd like to ask you a few questions. So I'll pretend. How many of you in the last 2 weeks have received poor service from someone at a place of business? Raise your hand. Yeah, I see a lot of hands raised. My wife and I recently went to dinner at one of our favorite places to go. We go there about once a month. And this restaurant was, I don't know, having a bad week. I don't know any. I'm not sure. But the server that we had couldn't remember anything that my wife or I asked him. I asked for more water. My wife asked for another glass of wine. I asked for ketchup. I asked for a napkin. He didn't get any of them. He was 0 for 4. He didn't do any of them, folks. And not only was the service poor that night at one of our former favorite places, the food that was otherwise normally very, very good, borderline excellent, wasn't good either. A few months ago, Seth, our president here at Grunder Landscaping Company, took his Toyota truck into the dealership right around the corner for a regular service appointment. When he got back, he said, "Oh my goodness." He said, "The report here says it needs brakes. Why didn't they just do it when they had it? Now I have to take it back up there." Folks, service is bad everywhere. We're seeing that. I think you're seeing that too. But you know what? I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing for those of us who want to make service a focus for our business. If you think about it, it's really not that hard to stand out, folks, by offering good service. But some of us, or so many of us, fall into the trap of negativity by complaining about one bad client or maybe a couple bad clients. I think if you're going to be honest with yourself today on the Grow Show, powered by Steel, as we have a conversation about little touches, I think you'd have to agree with me that most people are good that you work with. Most people are fair. They're not hard to work with. I'm talking most people. Most people is what I have found are easy to work with. And the majority of instances, the problematic ones were ones that I probably could have avoided. There was a great deal that myself or my team could have done to avoid the issue in the first place. Better screening up front, better contacts, better contracts, more notes, better notes on work orders, better communication, being blunt, telling the client what you can and cannot do, being confident, sharing your experience and your expertise. You know, Bob Rhodes is a local retired builder here in Dayton, Ohio that I've learned a lot from. He built the house that our family has been in the last 18 years. We love the house. I especially love my yard. If you're watching us on YouTube, we got a couple pictures of my yard in this episode on YouTube that you can take a peek at. But, you know, my wife and I chose to work with Bob the builder, funny, Bob Rhodes, to build our house, not because he was the cheapest, folks, but because we trusted him. We trusted him to do it right, and we admired and appreciated the expertise, the quality, the creativity, and the craftsmanship that Bob brought to the game. Prior to hiring him to build our home in 2005, I did countless landscaping installs for him on his homes, and he referred me to many of his high end clients that we did some very large projects for. I've watched Bob walk away from work that he didn't feel he was a fit for. He only worked with people he felt he would enjoy working with. He never told me this. I just observed that as I watched him. So that's part of my message this week about the little touches. You got to be focused on the ideal client. And those of you that have been following me for a long time, you should know what I'm about to say. The ideal client is the intersection between who's most profitable, okay? Who are the most profitable clients we have? Who are the ones that we enjoy working with? And which ones are sustainable? Which ones can we build a business upon? At Grunder Landscaping, for example, we can't build a business on $1 million landscapes. We get $1 or $2 million landscapes every 3 years, something like that. Most of our jobs are in the $10,000 to $50,000 range. So our ideal client is not all those big jobs, a lot of small jobs, but we are very careful in the screening process when we're courting someone to make sure that this is someone that we're going to be able to have a profitable relationship with, that we're going to enjoy working with, and it's sustainable. It's something that we do. We're not going to take too many one-offs, because when you take on projects that you don't know anything about or you don't do regularly, they're very, very hard to make money at. And here's the thing about the ideal client that I want you to take away before we talk about some of the little touches. If you're working with people that respect you and like you, in part because you like them, right? This game, if you will, of doing little things for your clients becomes quite easy. And it's also, folks, actually a lot of fun. So here's 10 things I'd like you to consider to be courteous and thoughtful, and they're not in any special order. Number one, maybe I'm starting out with the big one. Send them a thank you card. If you know their birthday, send them a birthday card. If you know their anniversary, send them an anniversary card. If you know the anniversary of putting a large project in their backyard, send them an anniversary card for that with pictures of the jobs. In today's texting and social media world, handwritten notes make an impact, folks. Do them. That's a small way you can show that you're thoughtful and courteous. Number two, bringing up the trash cans, training your team to do that. The newspaper, cleaning up areas that they didn't ask you to do, that weren't part of the contract that you saw. Several years ago, I was speaking in Baltimore, and my friend who lived in Washington, D.C., came to see me speak, and he picked me up. He had a little Honda. When I got into the Honda, I said, Jimmy, my gosh, your Honda's a filthy mess. What are you doing, buddy? He's like, yeah, I know, Marty. I got to go to Jiffy Lube. I said, wait a second. You got to do what? I got to go to Jiffy Lube. Well, Jiffy Lube changes the oil in the filter and lubes the chassis. What do they have to do with cleaning things up, Jimmy? I just don't understand. He said, well, in DC, I park my car on the street. I don't have a garage. I don't have a shop vac. There aren't that ton of car washes. And Jiffy Lube is part of their oil filter and lube. They also vacuum out your car for you. Now, this was 20 years ago, okay? But it stuck with me that Jimmy went to Jiffy Lube for an oil filter and lube, but Jiffy Lube did a lot of these other little things that were extras that didn't cost him a whole lot, like vacuuming out the car. Think of the small things that your team can do that take virtually hardly any time at all that make an impact, a big impact in the process. Number three, communicate well. People appreciate that. I am amazed at the number of people that tell us the main reason they like working with Grunder Landscaping is because we communicate well, because we tell them when we're coming, because we tell them what we did. We're using our industry-specific software to do all those things. I don't care if you're running Aspire or LMN. Those are the two best ones in the business, folks. They both have the ability to do that, and you should be looking at that. Communicating well with your clients. If you don't have a software or an enterprise system, then come up with a simple system that you let them know what you've done. Number four, turn your equipment down or off when people are close. It's called being polite. It's called being respectful. It's a small thing that we can do, folks, and it makes an impact. It makes an impact in everything that we do. It's also safe. We've had tremendous growth the last few years. Much of that has come in the commercial sector. So we're doing a lot more office buildings, warehouses, apartment complexes, HOAs, where there's more people. Being polite like that makes a difference, and we've actually seen that on surveys that we've gotten back. Number 4, teach your team and yourself to drive in the slow lane. Wave people over, all right? Tell your team that everyone is a salesperson. Driving courteously matters. You've got a rolling billboard with your name on the side, okay? It does matter how you drive. That does sell the next job. It also could cost you the next job if you're not driving in a courteous way. Number 6, send the client a picture of their job, text it to them, tell them you were in the yard and this is what the bed looks like, or maybe the tulips were blooming and they were away on Easter break, or better yet, send them a video. This is something that I've done a ton of with clients. I have a job I just did this on last week. We have a very large job we finished. I walked the whole job. The client's gone for a month on vacation. I took about a 90-second video of the yard. I walked the whole yard. I showed him the buckeye tree that was blooming. I showed him the viburnums that were blooming. I showed how the lawn had filled in very nicely. I showed him a couple repairs that we had made. And I told him, look, just want to let you know I was over here. The place looks great. Thanks for your business. Enjoy your vacation. Let me know when you get back. I'm happy to come over and walk around with you. It took like 90 seconds to do that. And again, this was fun. It was a thoughtful touch. I got a text back from my client. Thanks, Marty. You rock. We love you. Appreciate Grunder Landscaping. We'll be back in 2 weeks. I'll call you. This stuff's not hard, folks. It's about being organized and it's about being intentional. But if you're working with your ideal clients, you can almost gamify this. You can try to think of a way you can impress your client with a little touch. Number 7, and this is something, again, that's fun. Special touches on your drawings, on your quote. If you're doing a drawing for the backyard and they have a little cavapoodle like we have, cavadoodle, draw that little dog in around the pool. If they've got 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl, put the kids in the pool. If they're a Purdue Boilermaker fan, put the Purdue P in the bottom of the pool. If they have a BMW X7, a Suburban, and a Honda Accord, draw those cars on the driveway. Look for ways that you can stand out in a sea of sameness. On the commercial side, put the logo of their company on the quote. Find those special touches that can distance you from the competition. Number 8, don't park in their driveway. On the commercial side, don't park by the front door where their clients might be. Be mindful, be considerate. Think about how you would want somebody to treat you if you own that business and do just that. Number 9, take your shoes off when you come into a home or even an office that has carpeting. Carry gum, deodorant, hand sanitizer in your car or truck. Smell good, look good, be considerate. Several years ago, I sold a pretty big job to a lady that was next door to one of the homes that Bob Rhodes, I mentioned earlier, was building. Somebody else had done the landscaping, but we went in and added some more. And when I got there, she opened up the front door and she said, "Hi, Marty." Her name was Sally. I said, "Hi, Sally." She said, "I'd like for you to look out my back window so you can get a feel for why I want to do more landscaping." And I said, "Okay, let me take my shoes off." And she looked at me and she started laughing and she shook her head. And I said, "Well, Sally, what's so funny?" She said, "Well, if you'll look over there at my brand new rug in my dining room, you see the muddy footprints?" I go, "Yeah, what is that?" She's like, "Well, the landscaper that I had out last week, who I will not be hiring, did not take his shoes off and walked right through there." She said, "It's nice to meet a gentleman." All right, folks, you just never know. All right, be mindful, be polite, take your shoes off, carry gum, have Listerine in your truck, wear deodorant, put more in the truck, have the hand sanitizer, look good, smell good, be good. And then lastly, the number 10 that I wanted to share you some little touches. Smile, all right? Be considerate, be patient with people. All right. I realize it's the end of the day for you. It was the end of the day for them too. Maybe they had a long day and you just never know what your thoughtful actions could mean to them. All right. So let's go over those just real quick. Send them a thank you note. Handwriting stuff works, folks. Bring up the trash cans, the paper, communicate well. Turn your equipment down when clients are around you on whatever site. Drive in the slow lane. Send a client a picture or maybe a video like I talked to you about. Look for details you can add to your quotes, the dog, the cat, the logo of the company. Don't park in their driveway or in one of the front parking spots at the business if you're calling on them. Take off your shoes, be clean, carry gum, carry deodorant, hand sanitizer. And lastly, again, smile, be kind, be considerate, be patient. Folks, if you can't tell, I love my job. I really do. And I love delighting customers. I love my team here at Grunder Landscaping Company. And I hope in a big way that one of the reasons we treat our team here the way, and I hope in a big way, the thing that we do here the best is treat our team in a good way. And that has an impact on how the team treats our clients. Your external customer service folks will never exceed your internal customer service. You've got to go first. You've got to treat your team like kings and queens, and you'll be well on your way to doing some of these 10 things that we're doing. If you have an idea or something that you're doing outside of the 10, reach out at grow@growgroupinc.com. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that's going to do it for the Grow Show powered by Steel this week, folks. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the Grow Show. And if you can, give it a rating or share a comment. That helps more success-minded landscape professionals find us. And if you really want to help us, share this episode with your team or any landscape pro that you know. Thanks for joining us on The Grow Show this week. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Grow Show. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and head to growgroupinc.com for more information and resources to grow your landscaping business. A special thanks to the folks at Steel, whose support makes this podcast possible and whose reliable handheld power equipment makes our jobs easier daily. We'll talk to you next week.